Hello, everybody. This is Elena of the Witches Box, and we're here for our monthly end of month Witches Box Q&A. So this is for the September box. We did Candle Magic. That's what we sent out for the month of September several weeks ago now, right? 4 weeks ago. And we're here to talk about it. If you got the box, if you didn't get the box, we're going to be talking about Candle Magic. So you are welcome to be here, even if you're not subscribed to the book. I mean, not to the book, to the box. I have books on the brain. And pretty much it goes fairly informally. We talk, we have question and answers. I've got 2 things to show you so that we can talk a little bit about little extra touches with Candle Magic. But yeah, like that. We've done this before. You know how it goes. I'm going to check in with the chat box to see what's going on. But also just to warn you, although I think that I have sufficiently cared for my throat right now, but the COVID cough is like in full force today. So we'll see how that goes. I've got drinks, I've got throat soothers, but I had a little bit of a cough attack a few minutes ago. So if I start cracking the voice, you know what's going on. All right. Curls and Pearls, hello, Rise Above, a Purple Pixie, Izzy, Brooke, Sissy, Lasem, Mimsy, who else? Hello, Emily's here. Curls and Pearls, I think I said hi to Curls and Pearls already. And Laurenberg, hi, hello. It's Wednesday and it's a beautiful cloudy day, even though it's warm, it's kind of exciting. And that's it. We're here to talk about Candle Magic. Purple Pixie has not opened the book yet, but I'll talk a little bit about the book. I love that Curls and Pearls has gotten a High Priestess card in the box. Yeah, that energy is beautiful. I actually had, we have an Airbnb that we run, and there was a couple that stayed there a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago. They were there when I came back from the live retreat that we just had 2 weeks ago. And I haven't had a reading in a very long time. I just don't either have the time or I do my own readings. I don't, it's just not something that I do very often. But one of the couples person, he does tarot readings. He's like, I want to read for you. I had the most amazing tarot reading. He did 2, which was beautiful. And the Priestess card came up quite a bit, which was wonderful. Purple Pixie is obsessed with candles. Wonderful. Okay, so let's dig in, because candles is Candle Magic is such a beautiful practice because it can be so easy. It's so easily sourced. And then there are ways that you can work with it to augment it if you want, or keep it super, super simple. No matter what magic I'm really working with, you know that I'm a big sigil girl. Candles always still play very prominently in it because the act of the fire burning and slowed down by the wax is a perpetuant. I don't know that perpetuant is actually a word, but it perpetuates a continuous stream of energy fueling the intention that I love. It's a beautiful way to layer that into all of your spell work. The voice is going. All right. Mimsy has thunder and lightning since 5 a.m. Oh, blustery. I love blustery days. Emily says, oh my gosh, unrelated. I just have to share this cozy autumn music that just went live today. Oh, nice. I'll check that out. I don't think it actually shows up on our channel because I think it's like behind like a little lock. So it's private, but I am obsessed. Actually, that's not true. I've shared them with some of our forums before. There are whole videos here on YouTube that are like an hour, 5 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours of mood music. So it'll sometimes be rain and thunderstorms. Sometimes it'll be like you're in a Harry Potter library and you hear like, rain in the background and pages turning. I am all about those long, like background music soundtracks. And I don't know, Emily, if that's what you're referring to, but I love those. And people are creating those all the time. It is like one of my side obsessions. I love them. I have like I think, Emily, you can probably see it. There's like a whole long list of those videos that I have saved for later watching because I love them so much. Okay. Sharing about seeing a candle booth and being mesmerized. We'll definitely check it out after the live. The background music, wonderful. Love the rain and the thunder. I love it. All right, so let me show you this book, because those of you who got the box, seen it. Those of you who are here who did not get the box, hi Angela and Melanie and Barbara. Oh, I missed all these names. Those of you who did not get the box haven't seen it, but this book, it's beautiful, chunky monkey, came in the box. So it's the Book of Candle Magic by Madame Pamita, Candle Spell Secrets to Change Your Life. I love the cover. It's also, I love the cover as in terms of being a hardcover. She has so much information in this book. It's one of the reasons why I did not provide any major Book of Shadow pages. You've got Book of Shadow pages for the herbs, I think, that were sent in, but that was it, because this book has pretty much, it's one of the most, if not the most comprehensive candle magic book that I've seen out on the market. It is beautiful. She put a lot of information in this book. I'm going to really quickly go over the table of contents so those of you who don't have it can get an idea of what's there. We do not have any of these single boxes available for purchase. They're all gone. So highly recommend get the book. So I'm just going to give you a list really quickly of what's covered. She talks about a candle magic starter pack, practical candle magic, magic words, customizing your spell candles, planning your spell, making magic candles, the special magic of figural candles, power in numbers, candle spell layouts, the cabinet of curiosities, candle reading, adding some ritual pizzazz, what happens now, creating your grimoire, trying candle spells, then a list of magical herbs, a list of magical gems, a list of magical shells, and a list of magical talismans, along with just a list of symbols. There's a glossary, bibliography, and an index. The index is hella extensive. Kudos to you, woman, for doing that, because you know how we love a good index here in this side of the world. So get the book if you don't have it. If you didn't get the box, definitely get the book, because here's the thing. If you're like me, where again, I'm a big sigil magic girl. That's really where I live for the most part, as well as I do work with Aidan Wachter's Black Book spell work and magical work. I love that. But for the most part, my go-to is sigil magic. Even if you do different types of magic and those are your go-tos for spells, candles will always play prominently in the work that you do. So this is going to give you a lot of information in terms of how to layer some of these magical details in the other types of spells that you might be doing. Get the book. I really love it. I was going to do a booktube video on this, but because we're talking about it here, I'm not going to. So get it. Highly recommend it. I wouldn't have put it in the box otherwise. Lissam says the index and glossary are awesome. Yeah, packed with information. She really, because this is a topic that's been done before quite a few times, and usually in most magic books, there's going to be at least a chapter or a section of a chapter that talk about candle magic. This is kind of all of it packed into one book. So you never really, I think, have to get another book ever again. So there's that. Let me see what's going on in the chat box. Ooh, Curls and Pearls suggests type witchy ASMR or thunderstorm ASMR, and it's amazing. Can we just have a conversation though about how ASMR is not a pleasant thing for me at all? It makes my skin crawl. I don't like it. I know that it's something really cool for a lot of people, like they really love it. It's also become so gimmicky, where it's like, let me just throw up an ASMR video in order to just garner a bunch of views. It's like, do we really need this many? I don't know. In any case, I do know that people really love it. So thank you for the recommendation, but yeah, it does. I mean, I can't do it. It's not pleasant for me. I think it's probably the reverse of whatever it is that makes it pleasant for a lot of people. Let's see. Yes, Emily said Madame Pamita's YouTube channel is fabulous as well. She's been making videos for so long. She's like old school, like OG. She's definitely an OG, and definitely check out her channel because she does. She has got a lot of great content. Oh, this is a continuation of Mimsy's story, that when she goes to the candle booth, a lady looks at her, asks, "Do you like candles?" My friend started laughing and says, Does she? Every surface in her house is covered with candles. Yeah, candles are amazing. Totally agree. The book is fantastic. Sissy says, I have not opened my box yet. Oh, girl, I'm waiting to video. I am waiting to video opening it for my group on after our chat on Friday. I cannot wait to open it. Oh, wonderful. Cool. Plus, I've been sick, so waiting for that to pass. Well, hopefully it'll pass very quickly for you. Yeah, I'm not going to bore you with the trials and tribulations of COVID and coughing and all the things. So I hope that whatever's going on with you goes by very quickly. 1010 make a wish. Emily also shares, so true. I use candles with almost every kind of working I do, unless it's more energetic or out and about. Yes. Emily says, I hate SMR too, unless it's a fire. Right. I mean, if it's natural sounds, then is that ASMR? Probably it might be because it's low, it's kind of background crackling. I don't know, but it's the talking and the like convoluted, let me just invent things to talk. Oh my god. You can hear their mouth sounds. I know, it's like, no, that is not pleasant, people. Not pleasant. But again, there are people who have really super duper popular channels just on ASMR. So, you know, different strokes for different folks. It's all cool. I do like ASMR of junk journaling, paper ripping. Oh, paper ripping. So maybe that is ASMR. I do love in these videos that I was mentioning, I love the sound of pages turning, things like that in the background. But maybe it's all the mouth talking and the weirdness, or how convoluted it is. It's like, let me invent things to do. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Yes, Curls and Pearls, the Harry Potter study rooms. I love those. Jill Mar says no ASMR for me, not comforting, right? Glad that you're feeling better, Sissy. Hello, Martha. Does the book include a general how to make candles? And if not, do you have a recommend? I'm new to the idea of making my own. No. I think somewhere she touches on it, but it's not, there is no instructional on making, I don't think. Am I wrong? Because I read this a long time ago. Who read it recently? Is there much information? I cannot remember, but I'm feeling like no. I don't have any recommendations on making candles or books on making candles. However, I know that there are a bunch out there. So a search, like, even if you don't like Amazon, Amazon is phenomenal for just looking to see if a book exists. Or you can also look on Goodreads. But I would just do a search on making candles, just those two words, and see what books come up on Amazon. So then you can kind of see which ones you might want to buy. You can look at the reviews, and that can give you some information in terms of which one you might want to first focus on. No. Yes, making magic candles. I mean, I know that because I read the book. Let's see. It's not enough, really. Yeah. It's not an extensive chapter, but it gives you a basic understanding of how to make different candles, like rolled beeswax candles, as well as dipping tapers and melted wax and things like that. But I know that there are extensive books out there that you can check out for making candles, which I think would make it really gorgeous, because if you were making your own, then you can weave so much into the actual wax before you pour it and all the things. I'll talk about the candles that we worked on during our last live retreat, although I did mention this also in the deep dive that went on for this box that we sent out, like at the beginning of the month or at the end of August, right? The deep dive for the hold on, candle magic box. Oh, Sissy, thank you so much. I love it. I appreciate it. This is always helpful. Hold on. Yes, curls and pearls, definitely. I've been considering making my own with local beeswax, just haven't done it yet. Beeswax is a really beautiful wax to work with, and it's not as carcinogenic. Oftentimes, when you buy wax pellets or wax bricks to melt in order to make your own candles, like paraffin can be toxic, and different types of waxes can have fume output that can be a little toxic over time. So beeswax is always fantastic for that. But again, books that you would find on this would give you a lot of information on different types of waxes that you can get that are available, and why not you might want to use one over the other. And yes, listen, this is a wonderful suggestion. Don't forget, your public library is great for free research of any topic. Yeah, and candle making is much, much easier than you think. Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle, that work was a thing. I'm glad that you're here, though. Okay, you did not miss too much. I just showed the book. So this is the book. I'll show it again that we sent in the box. If you didn't get the box, we don't have any more of these available. So get the book for sure. There's a lot of information. She did a beautiful job. Get it. And so I'm open to questions about candle magic. We can talk about things. I'd love to hear from each of you what kind of candle magic you've been doing lately. You don't have to give details about the intention if you don't want to, but if you do, that's great. And then in the deep dive video that goes with the box, where we went a little deeper, I shared that there was a candle with a sigil that I was working with, and I shared that I have another one with a very similar colored dressing. So at the live retreat that we did, we spent, I don't know, a few hours after having done a shamanic journey where we pulled through a particular sigil that represented a portal of sorts for each of us. Each person had their own individual sigil that came through, that they channeled through, or that they received through the journeying and the dream work that we were doing. These candles that we were going to dress were supposed to then go the night, I think a night later, on the altar to represent that portal that we were igniting, that we were activating. Yeah. So we had a whole spread outside. You'll see photos at some point if you haven't seen them already on Instagram. Thank you so much, Jade. Where we had a variety of different botanicals available, a variety of different oils available, so that depending on the correspondences for the oils and for the botanicals, you could carve the sigil into your candle and then anoint the entire thing with the appropriate oil that you wanted that would match the intention and the feeling behind your sigil and what you were working with. And then depending on what was what, you could grind in the big mortar and pestle that I have the herb or the botanical that you wanted to then dress your candle with. In the end, we all decided that we were going to mix all of the herbs that I had together. So it was rose, it was cedar. No, that wasn't cedar. We had cedar oil, lavender oil, and olive oil. Those are the three options for the oil. Everyone picked, I think, their own oil. And then the actual botanicals were bay leaf, lavender, rose, and copal. And we ended up just like, everyone kind of like agreed, let's just put it all in there, pound and grind it up, and then use that powder for each of our candles. And on top of that, because we are those witches, there was glitter, there was gold glitter on the table. We threw in the gold glitter as well. So the sigil that I have here, just to show you what it ended up looking like, was like an overall container protection sigil that we ended up using around the entire circle, so that we would go in the circle and be protected by the intention behind the sigil, while everyone else had their portal sigil on their candles. It was beautiful because it was a whole tray of gorgeous candles, but it ended up looking like this. The beauty of doing something like this is that if you work with sigils the way I do, if it's activated in me, then it's in the candle. The fire and the flame and the length of time that it takes for the candle to burn out continues to fuel the power of the sigil. Beautiful. I don't know if this is going to focus. I got to get rid of my face. Let's see. Focus. There you go. And I mean, it's not a pretty sigil, but it's what it is. You can probably see some of the glitter, and now the glitter's all over me. We ended up also using this dressing as incense later in the ritual. So I love doing this with candles. It's something that I do just about most of my candles if I'm using candles in my spell work, because I like to layer in support, energetic support for the things that I'm manifesting or working on. But then I always just usually make enough for my candle. But at this point, because we made so much during the retreat, so much for everyone to be able to pull out of, we had enough left over so that we can use it as incense during the ritual, which was a beautiful scent. And the powder that we had didn't have an actual oil in it, so I added cedar to it. It was really beautiful. And then whatever was left over, we offered as an offering to the land. So it's a really beautiful way of using candles and incorporating candles into other forms of magic that you might have, because being lit by candlelight while you do ritual or while you do a spell adds such a beautiful ambiance that helps trip your subconscious into high gear and awareness, right? It helps change and alter your state, which we want, because we want to be in somewhat of a trance state in order to do this work. So all of those things, candles, yay, 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 forever. Let me see what's going on in the chat box. Mimsy says, excuse me, Yes, public library, and some now have electronic links where you can check out digitally. Yes, and you can read via ebooks on Kindle apps. Yes, which is such a beautiful option to be able to like check out digital books. Excuse me. Purple Pixie says, I'd like to try a cord cutting ritual. What kinds of strings are the safest to burn? I have lots of yarn, but I know that they can be toxic. So, Purple Pixie, you want things that are natural fibers, cotton, wool, silk. Excuse me, silk that doesn't have any major dye, alpaca wool. I don't know if it's called alpaca wood, but anything that's a natural fiber. Things like polyester, you don't ever want to burn. Acrylic, you don't want to burn. Um, Getting a fully wool yarn can be a little bit pricier, but you really probably don't need as much as a whole skein or, like the bigger ones. So you can invest in that, but you want just natural fiber. And then if you can get natural fiber that isn't dyed, that's even better. Lauren Brooks says there are cotton cords and also bamboo wicks. Yes. Mimsy says, I would love to be able to do more things with candles, but the apartment is so small and the smoke detector is so sensitive. Even releasing the vent on my Instapot has set it off. Yeah, it's hard when you live in an environment where it's not, it's just really inconvenient. So for those things, we need to be creative. For those things too, if you just use tea lights, they burn, although some of them burn for quite a long time, but they tend to burn fairly clean. It's a much smaller, less hot flame than, let's say, the candle that I showed you, or even if you had one of those jar candles. But yeah, if you can't because of the smoke detectors, then it's important to get creative. Because, life is what it is, and we have to work with the environment that we have, for sure. Lissem says, I'm researching the best type of cord cutting spell for my ex and I. My deepest worry is how it may affect our adult children. Don't want to project my issues onto them. It'd be cool to let us know if you feel comfortable in the future to see what research comes up for you. The only thing that I can think of, I'm trying to think of where you can look for information, since you know the details. Yeah. Oh my God, hold on. It's not coming to me. When it comes to me, I'll let you know. Sissy says, I had a dream of this big sigil in the sky, kind of like a question mark, but not. I'm going to have it tattooed on me for manifestations. Ooh, beautiful. I love when they just come to you, Jill Marr says, have you read Atomic Habits by James Clear? Yes, I ordered it to reset and for the first time keep a habit journal. Your thoughts? I thought it was a great book. I read it, when did I read it? Like a year ago or 2 years ago. It's helpful. I think that habit stacking, or like behavioral stacking, can be really, really helpful in terms of establishing new habits and manifestation. Helpful. I just thought it was really helpful, and I think it's a great thing to I think everyone at some point should read it if you're minded in that way, right? When we want to really hack the way we do things, when we want to shift the way we do things, when we want to shift habits. Oftentimes I find it interesting because people just want to I just want a spell. Just give me a spell to make it different, to make me different, to give me a habit. Not recognizing that the repetitive attention to changing a behavior is also its own spell work. So in that sense, I love that book because it's very methodical, very strategic. And we need logical strategy when we look at why we're doing a spell and the way we're doing it and what energy we're really working with and what we're trying to shift. And doing what he suggests in that book is an absolute strategic energy shift that will manifest a different way of being. So highly recommend it. I loved it. I did not review it on the Witches box because it's not really a witchy book, but maybe we need to, because I think it was really helpful. I don't know that he is the creator of that strategy or philosophy of creating new habits, but it's a very popular book. Thank you, Sissy. Thank you, Izzy. Sylvia, hello, woman. They were beautiful indeed. Yes, you were there and you made beautiful candles. Had fun making them. Don't forget the music was great as well. The music was epic. We had a really great soundtrack going on out there, I have to say. Marya, Marya Stark, is the person that whose music we played a lot for the ritual and for the creating of the masks and the candles that we did that weekend. And check out her song Lineage. It's a beautiful song. That whole album is gorgeous, so highly recommend. Mimsy says candlelight is just something something. It really is. Silver Rain, beautiful name. I'm late. I was watching the coverage in Florida. Oh gosh, prayers sent to all those trying to ride out the storm. Yes, it's pretty intense out there. We need to really send I think send love and send resiliency to those who are affected. You know, I have family still in Cuba, and the entire country of Cuba is without power. I mean, Cuba's kind of a hot mess in terms of their infrastructure, so they struggle deeply, but the entire island is without power. Florida's getting hit right now as we speak. It's a wild time. It's a wild time. What do you unplug when working? What did I miss? But Curls and Pearls says I unplug mine when working. Marie, hello Marie. When it comes to subscription box for the October box, would the payment would have to be the previous month or on the month? October is always a special box for me. October is a special box. I just did the deep dive video for the October box yesterday, so hopefully by Friday-ish, it'll be ready so that I can put it up to the forum. No, you always pay the month before for the next box. So the deadline for having paid the subscription to get the October box would have been September 15th. We will have some extra boxes for the October box. It is a throwing the bones box. So they're bones. So also another thing, although I don't think that this is you, but if, you know, having actual bone matter from actual dead animals is a thing that's going to be really difficult for you, that's not a box for you. I don't know how many extras we're going to have right now, so I won't know probably until the end of the first week of October, potentially next week. Sorry. Sorry. Hold on. But yes, you always want, it's always the 15th before the month that you pay. And then Mimsy's got information. There you go. Curls and Pearls, I have different days for habit stacking, and it's changed my life with ADHD. I mean, it's a very simple tool. It's not like it's super duper complicated. So I love that that's helpful with the ADHD. It just helps organize a lot of the way you move in the world. There is so much out there in terms of, I know that some people really have a hard time with the term life hack. I am a massive, massive fan of Tim Ferris, who has nothing to do with the witchy world at all. But his approach to really mastering habits and mastering skills, I think, has been really helpful for a lot of people. I love it. Very intelligent, very well thought out podcasts and writing and books. And I know he's talked about habit stacking a lot as well. So it's definitely something to look into. Marie, I reactivated my subscription too late for the October box. Then hopefully there will be, there will be single October boxes. I just don't know how much. So be on the lookout. I won't know until, let me look at my calendar and I'll tell you. I will look. I should know by the 7th of October. So be on the lookout for sales for that single box the week of the 10th. Somewhere in the week of the 10th, those boxes should go on sale. Kim Patterson. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry late. That's okay. I love candle magic. I work a lot with candles daily. Have never read a candle magic book and look forward to this one. Yesterday was my birthday. Happy birthday, Kim. Happy birthday. I love it. And I mean, hi, how many of us have grown up having birthdays where we like make a wish and blow out candles on a cake? I mean, how is that not a spell? It's a total spell. We have been casting spells since we were probably a year old, if we had a family that gave us cakes and candles as well. So like that. I love the dressing. You know, the thing that I really love about doing this to candles, this is that anything in your spell structure or spell like architecture, right, that you're creating, anything that has you focusing on the intention for longer periods of time strengthens the power of the spell. There are times, and I've talked about this before, where I'm like on the run, I got things to do, I'm like, oh, I need to call this in, but I don't have, like, I'm in my world. Writing a word on a bay leaf and just burning it for 5 seconds and then running out the door, that is a spell, and that can be effective. So I do that. There are times when it's like, listen, I'm just gonna light this right now and just like dispel this thing, or just put a little call out into the universe for this thing and then move on. That can happen, and that works. Sometimes you don't do any of that. Sometimes it's in my head, it's like, I'm just gonna put a little tendril out and then move on. But then there are times when we structure a spell because we want to really give it our time, and we want to give it our attention. We want to make it a very long-term spell. We want to make it as part of our new moon, full moon, or dark moon work, or Sabbath work, or whatever. Anything that has you spending more time on the intention just empowers it all the more. And so when you have a candle and you know what your spell is going to be, and then you go through the whole process of, okay, what are the botanicals that correspond most with my intention? Okay, what are the oils that correspond most with my intention and also can support the intention? Okay, let me do some dream work and see if I can come up with a sigil, or I pull through a sigil that represents that intention, or I go through the work of creating a sigil based on the verbal written intention for the spell. So now you've got all of these different layers that you've added in, and all the time that you've spent really embodying and aligning with the vibration of this intention by pulling in things that correspond with that intention and support it. You've been working on that spell now for days, and that has been fueling and mounting up the energy that you're going to be releasing when you actually activate or enact the spell. So I love doing that. And then also, when, like the way we did it at the retreat, where we had so much extra botanical, like ground up powder, like magic powder left, then you can use that as an incense, which is a beautiful way to add yet another layer to it. I love doing that. And then just the visceral experience of being in it, right? You're crafting the carving of the sigil into the candle, the anointing the oil into the candle. You can chant while you do these things, and that just keeps mounting more and more and more power behind the whole thing. And then you light the candle, and that flame, it keeps fueling it more and more and more. And if you can do it in such a way where you light the candle and you're able to let it be lit and burn for however long it takes for it to burn out, then that does the same thing as well. Even if you are like, okay, it's been burning for 2 hours, but I gotta go to sleep, it's not safe, you put it out. The next day you come back, you touch in, you light it again, you reignite that fuel, you reignite that nourishment to the candle, for the candle, and for the intention. Beautiful work. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. It's that level of attention too that allows us internally to continue to align with our intentions, so that then we become a walking magnetic for what we said that we wanted. Yeah. Okay. Rise Above says, do you spell his name Tim? No, it's Tim Ferris. Tim Ferris is Ferriss. He's the one who is most famous for writing the 4-Hour Workweek like 1,000 years ago. Although he said that the 4-Hour Workweek is just an unfortunate name, but he's also written a book called Tool of Titans and Tribe of Mentors. I think I have Tool of Titans, and then I have Tribe of Mentors on audiobook. Tool of Titans is it's over 1,000 pages. It's a massive book, but it's all of the information that he's gotten across like the hundreds of thousands of podcasts that he's done. He's interviewed people who master particular skills in their lives, who are like at the top of their game in a particular way. And then he'll ask them questions like, what are your morning practices? How did you get to where you are at? How do you maintain your level of performance? How do you deal with things like grief or trauma? Like all of these amazing questions that span a very, very wide reach of different types of careers and professions and skill sets, and all these things. Like he's interviewed, I think, several times Brene Brown. He's also interviewed someone like Neil Gaiman, who's an amazing writer, Jocko Willink, who is like a former Navy Marine SEAL, so it's like he covers anyone and everyone, but he really focuses on how are you at the top of your game? How did you reach your mastery? And so they may not necessarily relate to being a witch, but I love him because it talks specifically about, I think at the core for me, what he's talking about is the types of practices people employ to really fully actualize in whatever area they want to actualize in, which I think has a lot of implications for our witchcraft as well. He's also one of the big, he's one of many big investors in researching the healing properties and the implications of using psychedelics for healing, for alleviating depression and anxiety and healing from trauma, which is very, very exciting. Oh, fool. So, Emily, this person who's coming up here is like second day in a row of this nonsense. I have tried to remove, I have put him in timeout, and I don't know what's going on. So I don't know if you actually have access to like booting him. I think that you probably do. Hold on, let me see what's happening. Yes, Kim was just going to mention the whole making a wish on our birthdays. We've been doing it since we were born. Absolutely. Birth story at works too. No, it's okay. Curls and Pearls says, I love using the standard Shabas candles. It's a 3-hour candle. I know. And I love, these will last depending on like the wind. And also know that when you have a naked candle that's open like this, that's not in a glass bottle, depending on the herb or whatever it is that you dress it with, it may burn quicker. So just know that it's hard to determine how fast this will go. This will last normally fairly several hours for me without any dressing, but this powder itself has sprinkles of copal in it. Resin burns really, really hot, and that can like create a lot of faster melt as well. So it just depends. But I also have loved, and this is a personal choice, be responsible with your candle burning. When I get those icon candles, right, those Catholic jar long 7-day candles, I will let that just burn until it's done, and it'll burn for 7-8 days straight. But it depends. Those are great because on the glass, if you want to do collage work, almost like a vision board kind of thing of what you're manifesting on the outside of the candle, that can be really beautiful. Yes, Curls and Pearls says ceramic tools. Yes, that's a really great idea. Ceramic tools make great candle carving tools as well. Yes, we used, I think, iron nails. You can use porcupine quills if they're large enough. We sent those out a long time ago. I've got these beautiful, they're in the workshop, these beautiful metal forged, basically like a quill, but they're long and they're decorated on the outside, and I've used those to carve into my candles for a very long time. I got them at oh God, what was that called? I went to a witchcraft conference several years ago, whose name now escapes me. They don't do it anymore. In any case, I got it there at the vendor place, but you can get really beautiful metal carved tools as well at conferences and festivals like that. Purple Pixie says, I have some arrowheads. Wonder how well they would carve the candles. Anyone use arrowheads before? I mean, it depends. Look, in a pinch, I've used like the end of a lead pencil. You know what I mean? I don't know that I don't recommend it. It's not romantic. It's not pretty, but it's like in a pinch, I needed to get like some carving going on, and I've used that. So I think the answer to your question is, does it work? Does it feel like it works for you in terms of what you want to carve? Because some edges or some points don't carve as well as others. But it's wax. Wax is super forgiving. If you make a crooked line, you can make the line thicker to kind of incorporate the crooked part of it, and then it becomes straight again. There are things that you can do. And obviously this one isn't a very neat one. So it doesn't have to be necessarily pretty, although we do love it to be pretty because there's something about that as well. Let's talk about that, Mimsy. Mimsy says, would you go over the difference between extinguishing candles and why? Listen, this came up during our retreat, and I've mentioned this. Oh, I have a cut. I've mentioned this in various different places throughout the years. There is this whole like, don't blow out your candle. Your breath is profane, and you're basically like disrespectfully like blowing away the intention. I don't agree with that at all. First of all, there is not a single part of you and your existence that's profane. Every part of who you are and what you are in your body is sacred. Breath is like one of the most sacred things ever. It is a life-sustaining part of who you are. And all of it is geared and all of it is guided by your intention. I often love to blow out candles. It's convenient and it's quick, but also when I blow on it intentionally, I'm just like giving it more of myself. I'm imbuing this wick with a piece of me so that when I relight it, my intention, my desire, my blessing, my sanctioning, this intention is now part of the candle in actual like DNA. So I don't think that blowing it necessarily is a negative thing. You can also blow it as a way to banish and make your breath a banisher. So you can use that tool in a way that works for you, that matches the intention of the candle. The other thing that you can do is, it doesn't hurt to do it quickly. I know people are afraid of the flame, but if you you wet the two fingers and you go, psst, you can snuff it. There are also actual snuffers that, you know, like little, almost like little bells or bell caps that you can like put right over the flame and it extinguishes it that way. So there are many ways that you can do it. One of the ways that I do it sometimes, if I don't want the smell, you know how when you put out a candle, it keeps smoking for a while and it puts that smell into the air, and I'm very smell sensitive. I like particular smells and not others. One of the things that I've done is with like the quill or the things that I have on my altar that I've carved a candle with before, or sometimes if I have twigs and things, because I'm always having dry things all over my altar, I'll use a twig to just put the wick and go and like kind of bend it into the wet wax to kind of extinguish it, and then I put it back up so that the wick is left standing, and that extinguishes it quickly and the wax keeps it from continuing to smoke. That to me is just a convenient thing that keeps that smell from like perpetuating into the room. So there are many, many ways to do it. I don't subscribe to this idea that you should never blow out your candle. I think that's ridiculous, and I think that it's really keeping us from using yet another magical tool that we have at our disposal, which is our sacred breath. It's not profane at all. So that's what I have to say about that. Hold on. I did that. Jilmar says, various scholars have paved assurances along my path. Your Erroneous Zones by Dr. Dwayne Dyer. I have heard about that book for years and I've never read it. Dwayne Dyer is another OG. So it'd be kind of cool to check that out. Is Tim Ferris the one who teaches how to read really fast? Yes. Tim is like a hacker. So he also has a video or videos out there and blog posts out there on how to learn a foreign language very quickly, how to read really quickly, how to develop the ability to hold your breath for very, very long periods of time. He's got a book on becoming it's called The 4-Hour Chef, but how to become like a person who can cook just about anything in a very quick amount of time. So that's kind of part of the brand. Wait, hold on. Okay, thank you, Emily, for getting on that, fool. And I know Brené Brown is amazing. Mimsy says, oh, Brené Brown, amazing lady, and information. Her special on Netflix is really good. I haven't seen her latest special. How is that even possible? I know that it came out and I was going to watch it, and then, you know, life gets busy. But thank you for reminding me, because then I need to go back, and when I have some time this week, maybe I'll watch it, because I knew it came out and I was like, ooh, I want to see it, and then completely forgot. Emily's quick with the block. I love the little sword. I normally use a 7-day candle for big things that I want to manifest. Yes, definitely. Emily says, I sometimes blow them anyway because I believe it would affect my magic. I often use my breath to empower anything anyway, so I often see it as adding more intention with my breath, blowing it out. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Sometimes I do snuff. Moon dust psychic medium. Hello. A clay carving tool is best. Yes. I don't agree with it either, Elena. Kind of a little bit of a rebel witch sometimes. Izzy, I believe that, why did my eyes suddenly get, what's happening? I believe that being able to breathe on the candle to say what your intention is would be an effective way to, and really working with the candle. Absolutely. Exactly. Your breath is life. Boom. Like that. Mimsy says, I was always dipping candle wicks in the wax to put them out for the same reason. I didn't like the wick smoke either, and the wax on the wick makes relighting it easier. Yeah, that too. It also makes it easier to light. So I do a combination of all the things depending on what's going on. I'm also of the mind that I tend to maybe most of the time, it just depends on what's going on in my life. I tend to move into the world of what's most convenient and efficient, which doesn't necessarily always align with being magical, but because we can add our intention to every single thing that we do, even if it's for efficiency, I err on the side of efficiency. So if blowing it out just makes sense right now, I make that sacred and holy. If being able to bend the wick into the wax to burn, to turn it off that way is what's effective and what's going to suit my needs in the moment, I make that holy and sacred as well. We have the power to do that. Everything that we do is magic. Everything. Not even if. Everything we do is magic. And when we align that with very conscious and being present with intention, then we amplify that magic in a really powerful way. Curls and Pearl says, what's it called when the flame of the candle moves certain ways? Oh God. I was just talking about this too. I don't remember. I hope someone else in the chat remembers. I don't remember. There are whole books that will tell you how to do readings based on how the candle is or the flame is moving and how the wax is burning or melting. I know that what is her name? What is her name? I think it's Christine Yronwode. I cannot pronounce her last name, but she is the author of the book that's going out in the October box. She is the one who I think runs luckymojo.com. Lucky Mojo, if you're ever going to watch my videos, please, for the love of all things, update your website, because it's impossible to find the 5 million things that are there. And it's an amazingly powerful, hyper resourceful website, but it's a hot mess it's impossible to find the things that you want to find. In any case, I think it's Christine Yronwode. Can someone do a little research to see if her last name is spelled Yronwode? That should bring up her actual first name. In any case, there is a book that she wrote, a teeny book, easy book to read. And potentially, I think that there's also a blog post somewhere on that site that talks about like how to diagnose your candle. If it's burning in a certain way, what that means. If the wax is melting in a different way, what that means. Some people use that for divination. Lots of great information in and around what she's done. It's just really, really, really difficult to find your way through that website. I can't even imagine what the backside of that website looks like, because the amount of information in that website is staggering, which is awesome. It's just the navigation is a hot mess. Hold on. Laurenberg says, that just popped into my mind. My mom used to have the old-timey oil lanterns. Has anyone used oil lanterns in place of candles? I have not. I've never used oil lanterns. I've never. So if anyone else has, let us know. And the smoke is to mean something. Yes, the smoke, the flicker of the flame, and the way and shape of the melted wax. Like if it all just melts clean, that means something. If it melts off of one side as opposed to the other, if it drips in a certain way, like I think this candle has a little bit of it. I don't know if you can see it, a drip right here. All of those things have a meaning for divination and for messages. I don't work that way, obviously, because it's just not something that's ever called to me. Mimsy says, oh, I love the olden lanterns and I wish they would be easier to get. I'm trying to think. I don't know where you would get one. The website is luckymojo.com. Purple Pixie, anyone store candles in a special way? I store my pillar candles in an old tin can that belonged to my grandpa. The rest are scattered around. I love that it reminds me of him every time I grab one. That's beautiful. No, I mean, no. I used to, back in the day, store, candles like in a drawer and then just have them out around the house depending on what they were for. The way I'm living now with like the office and the workshop is just kind of like my storage slash resource pantry. You know, we've got shelves and shelves and shelves, and so all of my extra candles are just there now. So whenever I want something, I can go in there and kind of like, it's not as exciting as it's going to sound, but I kind of shop there, but there's not a lot. So don't think that there's like a lot going on there, but at times there has been. So I'm able to get my herbs from there, and I'm able to get my candles from there, so that whatever extra space I have in my office go to all the books. Priorities. But in, like, for instance, at home and at the Airbnb, we do have candles tucked away in little drawers as resources, because we do lose power a lot, right? People who have weather, you need candles to keep things lit. I remember when we were living in Maui, I think a couple times we lost power because of like hurricane or winds or whatever. I had like a little bundle in one of the island drawers of candles, so that just in case you can light something and you can see your way through the house. For hurricanes, yes, they work great. For other stuff, I don't know. Oh, you mean the lanterns? Yeah. Emily's got the link to the site. Wonderful. And if you can figure out, those of you who go to that website, how to navigate it, because for instance, they have an extensive store. In fact, the books that we're getting in the October box came from that shop. But to find your way just to the store where you can just kind of look through what they sell, for me, is near impossible. I don't understand. And they are a large company. I know I'm kind of complaining about it because it's one of my pet peeves. It's like, it's hard to find your way through there. But on any given page, there's at least 100 different links to informational pages. So it's a deep dive, and it's a rabbit hole to like just fall into, because there's so much there that you can learn, that even if you never find yourself to the store, you're going to get a lot of just really great reading in terms of information on that website. Mimsy says, with hurricane and everything else in an emergency, a can of Crisco will burn for hours. Look at you. I love that survival tech hint. That's great. Lauren Berg says, I am a software engineer, so maybe I can offer my service. I mean, please do, for the love of all things. It's extensive. Bad websites are my pet peeve too. Ugh. I mean, my life is pretty much in the WordPress ecosystem. My husband is like a WordPress person. So that is like the extent of my understanding of like backends, but I love how well that is like made in order to have a content management system. I've been on the back end of Wix, and I've been on the back end of, what's the other one with an S? Square. Back in the day, because I'm older. I had a TypePad. I don't even know that TypePad's still around. A TypePad blog, and I remember the back end to that. It's important. It's important not only to have a really well organized back end, but then the front end. People need to be able to find things easily, and that is not what's happening. The UX there is not good. Oh, good. Emily's got a UK resource. In the UK, I go to powerfulhand.com for the 7-day candles. It's also a little ancient in terms of usability. Yeah, like the other thing, there's another website that I have used, I think probably for over 20 years at this point, like since websites started, astro.com. I have my entire life's worth of all of the natal charts that I have pulled up for, I don't know how many people I've known throughout my entire life. They have been there on that server for decades. I feel like that website was created and then never again was it ever updated. I think until just recently, and the update wasn't that much better. It's like, this is some serious old school 1999 situation. Like but it's been an amazing website, and I've used it for I think close to 20 years, because I was using it way before I met my husband, and I met him 19 years ago. So it's been a long time. And that website, for the love of all things, holy cow. You like astro.com and astro-seek. Oh, I don't know that second one. But I love going there just for memory's sake, because again, it's not necessarily easy to find, but all of the reports that I've ever pulled on people, it's all there. I'm like, oh my God, I used to know so-and-so. Like, it's just a whole history of people that I used to. It's funny. All right. Any other questions on candle magic? And then Obviously, I already gave the spoiler, but the October box is throwing the bones. So you're all going to be getting bones. You're going to be getting bones. You're going to be getting a couple of other trinkets. You're going to be getting a book. The bones. Yeah, the bones. I'm flashing. It's like this light knows when it's an hour and then it goes. Hold on. We still need a day for astrology. We do. We will be offering some new things with regards to astrology soon. I just started chats with our wonderful astrologer, Kiara Stellar, to kind of add more offerings to the Moon Ritual Coven, and potentially a particular type of reading. I also just want to speak her name into the space because she's just, I'm getting misty. Lilith is just like, she's not willing to wait. And when a deity tells you they're not willing to wait, you kind of have to listen. So Lilith is coming through probably a lot sooner rather than later, which I'm very excited and nervous and scared about. And the next month, November box, I don't have a hint for that yet because I'm still working on a couple of things. Yeah, I think that's it for like sneaky peekies and announcements. Yeah, that's it for right now. Also, what is the other thing? There's no guided meditation on Friday, but we will be back with guided meditations the following week, so the first Friday of October. I think that's it. What's happening? Curls, we need an astrology box. I know. That might be fun to do an astrology box. All right. Oh, when is she? I don't know what you're asking. No Friday. Yes to Lilith. Lilith is like, you know, it's a thing. I was talking about her this morning. I think that's it. It is Wednesday. This is the end of our Candle Magic Q&A. So thank you for hanging out. Again, we don't have any more of these boxes left, but let me show it to you again. This is the book. Totally recommend getting the book. It's beautiful. It's like super jam-packed with content. So I highly recommend it. She did a beautiful job with it. Emily also recommended, and I recommend as well, check out Madame Pamita's YouTube channel. She's got a lot of great content there. Lilith, when is she? I mean, I was feeling like Lilith at the end of 2023. She's like, nah. So I actually don't have a date. We're negotiating right now. We're negotiating right now. But probably sooner than that. And that's all I'm going to commit to because my timelines, I really want to get other things done. So I'm kind of in a, let's get other things done and then dive into that. But, you know, who am I to say? Yeah, and that's it. That's all I have in terms of my hints. Choose a meditation. Yeah, definitely. Choose a meditation on Friday from the Witches Meditate playlist. And if you all do it at 10, then you have the added benefit of a group of you doing your meditation at the same time, even if you're choosing to do a different video, because it's nice to keep that practice going of meeting at 10 in the morning Pacific time to do a meditation. Girl, name change, I don't know. It's coming. It's coming. So Marie says, I already booked, so I am not missing out on this, but the October bucks, I gotta have it. Be on the lookout. Instagram will post it. We'll post it through the newsletter. And it'll just know that it'll be around the second week of October. It should be going up, or at least at the very least, I'll know how many we have available and go from there. Woohoo for Lilith. Yeah. All right, my loves, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for all the questions and for all the sharing. And you also, for those of you who did have the subscription or are subscribed, you have access to the forums. You can write questions and comments and share photos of your work with candles there if you want. And that is it. All right, have a wonderful week. I love you all, and see you next Tuesday.